Hello, friends. And welcome to a new horror reading vlog. So in this vlog, I end up reading 4 new books that are coming out in January and February. These are arcs that I got from NetGalley, but I did want to talk about a new release that I ended up reading for Winterween. You guys probably know I did not vlog for Winterween because of my teeth stuff going on, my root canal. And yeah, that was just not going to happen. But I did read this Wretched Valley, and this came out on January 16th. My review is already up on Goodreads and everything for it. But this is like a survival Dilatov past, like inspired story. But it takes place in Tennessee. Is it Tennessee or Kentucky? One of those. And it's people scouting out like new climbing areas. Kind of like, it gave me Descent vibes, but everybody is so stupid in this. Like, they're supposed to be professional, like, climbers. One of them brings their fucking dog. Okay, like, I'm just saying, like, I will not be bringing my dog to explore mountain areas where you could be trespassing, where, you know, you have no idea like where you are, you're totally isolated. I'm sorry. But yeah, that was the stupid part, number 1. And then also, as a horror reader, you're like, oh great, there's a fucking dog here, great. Cool. So that was like a red flag for me. And then there's like just a whole bunch of stuff happens all at once at the beginning, and they fuck up immediately. They bring old gear, they like don't even know proper first aid. Like, I'm not an expert, I'm not an EMT or anything, but I do get trained on EMT, on first aid, not EMT stuff, but first aid. What? Like, some of the stuff I was rolling my eyes real hard at. But anyways, I did like some of the imagery in it. It did get very gory. It was pretty gnarly, but also like I feel like the same thing kept happening over and over again. But yeah, I ended up giving it 3 stars. Definitely worth checking out if you like survival horror. You might like this one. It does have a really cool intro. I do like the way this story starts. But yeah, I was just like, no, I got taken out of the story way too many times, but I did enjoy most of it. And for this vlog, I ended up reading A Haunting in the Arctic by C.J. Cook. This comes out February 27th, and I ended up reading Midnight on Beacon Street by Emily Ruth Vernon, which comes out January 30th. And I ended up reading a YA book, My Throat An Open Grave by Tori Belvolino. Probably mispronouncing that. And that comes out February 20th. And then I ended up reading Eynhallow by Tim McGregor, and this comes out February 22nd. So yeah, I will try to timestamp when I talk about books in this vlog, so you guys can hop around if you want, and I'll have all the release dates in the description box down below. But let's cut to past Katrina. For my car, I'm on my way to work. I kind of ran out of time, so sorry if you hear my car running. It's not even that cold. I don't know why it's so loud right now. But anyways, I finished The Haunting in the Arctic by C.J. Cook. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this kind of blew my mind. There is a pretty big twist in this one that I didn't see coming. I thought it was going to be more stereotypical than it ended up being, so I really liked it. I definitely like it more than The Lighthouse Witches by this author. And yeah, it's pretty brutal. It's very dark. I wasn't expecting it to be so dark and devastating and emotional and sad, and honestly, it felt Mike Flanagan-esque. You guys know I absolutely love that. So I think I'm giving it 5 stars because wow, CJ Cook really put me through the ringer on that one. Oh my gosh, I was like, oh my gosh, I was so sad. Like, I was just like bummed out after I finished this. So the premise of this is about a woman. So you get two POVs. You get like present day, and you get a 1901 timeline of a woman, and they're both, well, the 1901 woman is on a whaling ship. She is kidnapped and put on this whaling ship, at the Ormond, and it take like horrifically like abused and stuff, and essayed and art. It is horrible. It is absolutely awful what happens to this character. So look up some content warnings for that for sure for this one. And then we follow Dominique in the present. So it's Nikki in 1901 and Dominique in the present, 2023, and she is doing like adventure, what is it? Adventure, like, I don't know, podcasting influencer or something, and they're pulling up the Ormond, and they're exploring the Ormond that is shipwrecked in the Arctic, and from 1901. So yeah, you're getting that POV of the exploration team present day, and then you're getting this 1901 story, and you also get a 1973, I believe, perspective at the very beginning. So it is a lot going on in this, but it all comes together in the end, and I absolutely loved it. It was really interesting too, because you could tell CJ Cook, even in the author's note, she did say this, it confirmed what I was kind of feeling, like all the folklore and all like the whaling folklore and stuff, like pulled into like European stuff, because I know a little bit about American whaling stuff because I read Moby Dick, but I don't know a ton about like European whaling stuff, and it gave me like the terror vibes that is about those two ships that were exploring Antarctica and went missing or didn't come home, and those were found pretty recently, like in 2017. So it has all those vibes. It's very, very cold. It's very sad. It's very sad, and I loved it. I'm giving it 5 stars. It was fantastic. Definitely check this one out. And I think I'm starting the Midnight on Beacon Street. I forget who this is by, but I looked at it. It's only like 100 or so pages, or 150 pages, I think. So it's pretty short, and I think it's like about a murder. It's like one body, one babysitter, something goes wrong while this girl is babysitting. So I'm really interested in this, and I'm so happy I got approved for it because it just happened. So I'm like, I think this one does come out January 30th, so at the end of the month. But anyways, I took down all my Christmas stuff this morning before I'm leaving for work, and it was kind of sad. And I should say Creepmas stuff all came down, and then I've been rewatching Fall the House of Usher, and y'all, I stopped right before the end of the second episode, The Mask of the Red Death. I am literally at the part of like the 9 Inch Nails part, let's just say that. And I am like, I gotta go to work, and I gotta like actually work probably when I get there, and then I'm gonna have to like fucking watch it. So I'll probably watch a couple of more episodes of that today at work, and work on a blanket. But anyways, this was a really quick check-in, and I shall check in later. Okay, so I just finished Midnight on Beacon Street. Sorry, my chair is so squeaky. I actually read this just this morning because last night at work I literally just watched The Fall of the House of Usher, or rewatching it, and I think I'm on the last episode right now. I just love that show. It's so good. I'm picking up like so much more stuff than my first watch when it came out in October, and I just love it so much. Like all the siblings have their own color, and like that didn't register for me in the first watch, and there's so much foreshadowing in the script, and like Mike Flanagan, it's just a fucking masterpiece. I absolutely love it. Anyways, Midnight on Beacon Street by Emily Ruth Farina, I believe. This is a debut novel, and I would say this is definitely more of a thriller than a horror book. There are like a lot of horror movie references and stuff, and this does take place in 1999. So it has some vintage vibes in it, but this is about a babysitter babysitting these kids, and it starts off from the ending, which is I really like. And actually this Wretched Valley did the same thing. So it's cool to see that authors are actually like doing that, because that's one of my favorite things to see in especially a horror book or any book. Start with the ending and then build from there. I really enjoyed this one, but I will say, like, the twist or the reveal, I was just like, okay. I think I needed just a little bit more of a why, which I'm not usually that person, but it being a thriller, I'm like, I just kind of wanted a little bit more. But overall, I think I'm leaning towards a 3.5 because it did keep me really engaged. It's told in a non-linear style, which I really like. And it had like some emotions in it, some good emotions. So definitely worth checking out. This will be out January 30th. And I enjoyed it. So next up, I'm actually not sure. I have two I'm gonna pick from, but right now, as you can see, I have some books here. I'm about to film a book haul that will actually be out before this. It's my Christmas book haul. Didn't buy any books, so I'm still on my book buying ban because of my Read What You Own challenge, and I have kind of a long way to go with that. So yeah, I am going to a work thing, and then I have a booktube meeting, which is exciting when I get done with the work thing. It's just like a lunch, like an employee lunch. And I don't think I'm staying for the movie. It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the newer one, but Alex wants to watch that and he can't come to this, so I mean, he could have, but he's busy. But anyways, he kind of wants to see it, so I think I'm gonna wait to watch that one with him. But anyways, that is all for this check-in. So it is the next day, and I did my work lunch yesterday, which was super fun. And then I had a meeting with OSA people, and that was super fun. And now I think it's about to snow, hopefully. I have not seen snow in a really long time, but it is very, very cold for the South, I should say. I know people are like freezing everywhere. Anyways, I did finish my Throat An Open Grave. Is that what I just read? This is a YA book by, I think it's Tony Bovalina, and this is definitely not my cup of tea, my usual cup of tea. It is a dark fantasy YA book, but there is like ghost and like darker elements going on in this, or just darker themes, heavy themes too, especially for YA. So this is kind of like Labyrinth-esque. That's why I think I requested it. I saw the synopsis for it and I was like, oh, that's awesome. I love Labyrinth. And it is like this girl, we pick up with this teenage girl in this very small town that is kind of really religious, and they're scared of the Dark Lord in the woods. And she has to take care of her little brother. She's very resentful of this baby. And then, which, like, of course, if you were a teenager stuck taking care of your baby brother, you'd be a little resentful. And then the baby ends up missing, and the town is like, the Dark Lord got him because of you, and you sacrificed him to the Dark Lord, so now you have to go make a bargain with him and bring him back. So she ends up going to this, it's not even in the woods, she's like in another world, which kind of lost me in a minute. For a minute I was like, what? And she meets the Dark Lord, and you know what, he's not what she thought. And they actually, there's a bit of romance in this, which too my brain shuts down usually for. So yeah, I felt like those parts were boring, but like the overall like reveal and where the plot went with these themes, it was so dark, I wasn't expecting it. And just really sad. So I give it credit for that. I'm gonna give it 3 stars, even though it definitely wasn't my cup of tea. But if you like dark fantasy and like darker YA stories. I think this one is a good one. I think this comes out January 23rd. I hope I'm right with that. But yeah, I did enjoy it more than I thought I would. And yeah, so last night I was supposed to edit that book haul. Did not happen. I just ended up like being very cozy and finishing The Fall of the House of Usher, my rewatch, and I loved it. I loved it. I did not cry at the end like I did the first time, but I mean, I just couldn't, I didn't want to like put myself through that, so I definitely was probably doing something else. I was crocheting. I will show you guys this. So I'm working on, so you might have seen, if you're in the crochet realm, they do temperature blankets. So every day, like, you have a range, you have your own little key, and you pick out like colored yarn and you go through like a temperature gauge or whatever. So I'm not doing that. I'm going to do a genre blanket. Mel from Melon.release does a genre blanket, but she tends to read way more genres than I do. I read like 2 genres, so I had to break down horror subgenres. So this looks insane. This just looks like a maniac did it. Like Alex saw it and was like, what's going on with this? So I think I'm going to make a spread in my journal that's a little bit nicer looking, and also like I won't lose this. But basically I just picked up all my scrap yarn that I have, and I tried to pick like basic colors too that I could like get more of easily. But for thrillers I'm just doing gray, and I'm not doing a subgenre for that, but I have demons, witches, gothic, romance, dark fantasy, cosmic folk, supernatural / ghost, animal attack, which I have with extreme horror, because I feel like those usually kind of go together. And then this bright green is body horror / zombie / weird, psychological, found footage, slasher I have all by itself, and then pink for just pink horror or YA and middle grade. And then I have an extra one just in case I come across something that doesn't fall in any of those. So I'll show you guys where I'm at as of today's the 15th of January, and I've read I think 16 books. So this is where I'm at, and as you can tell I'm going with a big granny square theme. So this will be a big old square blanket, and for a moment there I totally forgot how to change colors. Like my brain just like forgot that, so I had to look it up. And then I looked it up and I was like, I think it's just easier to just do a knot, and I think it's a little more secure. So these colors are kind of awful together, I feel like. Especially like here. It gets prettier, but yeah, not the prettiest of colors, but hey, it's like extra yarn I had laying around. So I worked on that. I'm all caught up other than the book I just finished. So, and that will be pink for YA. And yeah, as you can tell, I've read a lot of thrillers. Well, 4 thrillers, which I think is no, 5, because I read thriller. I've read a lot of thrillers. So yeah, I've been working on that. I'm also working on like another blanket for my friend's birthday at the end of the month, so hopefully I can get that finished. But anyways, the next book I want to read, and this vlog will probably be the last book, and that is Eynhallow by Tim McGregor. I think this is a gothic book about or it's like a Frankenstein retelling. It has all those cold vibes, like it's like winter on an island, a secluded island in the 1700s, and this weird doctor shows up. So I'm super excited for this one. I think this one does come out in February, and this is my only last new release or like arc I'm gonna be reading for this, because my other arcs don't come out until like freaking March or May and stuff. So kind of down the line, and some I've even gotten approval for, and they're like, you cannot talk about this until the month of, and I'm like, that's crazy because I've never gotten that before, but okay. So here is my horse subgenre blanket. display my journal just in case I lose that sheet of paper. I like how this looks. I like the shorter pieces of yarn here. I am not sure why I picked a spider web, maybe because it's like, you know, a spider making their own blanket. Who knows? I just wanted something on this side of the page. But yeah, I like how it turned out, and now I won't be so paranoid that I'm gonna lose that other sheet of paper. Whew, cold. So I finished Eynhallow by Tim McGregor. I actually finished this about a day ago. I just wasn't able to sit down and talk about it. As you can tell, I'm very cold right now. But yeah, this is a great little gothic tale. I really enjoyed it. It is like a retelling of Frankenstein, but I was really into it until the last like 40-ish pages or so. I feel like where like the climax happens, I feel like that was a good place to stop, but that's just me because I'm like, you can just like abruptly end this and I'll be like, that was sweet. But I guess the other 40 pages adds like another level of horror, and it does stick to the Frankenstein story, the Mary Shelley story. So yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I think if you like Frankenstein and you like Frankenstein retellings, you'll like this one. It's very isolated and cold and, you know, a little weird because it's a Frankenstein retelling. I think the true horror in this, though, is honestly just being a woman in like the 1700s. Like, horrifying. Absolutely horrifying. I feel like that is the true horror, the whole Frankenstein stuff. Dr. Frankenstein stuff, I was just like, oh yeah, that's cool. But like, just the day in and day out of being a woman in the 1700s, horrifying, absolutely horrifying. So yeah, I think I'm leaning towards like a 4.5 for this one. I might round up to 5 stars on Goodreads just because, like, yeah, the last 40 pages I was just like checked out a little. But I think other people will really like this one, and I think it's a great little end of winter tale, and this one comes out, I believe, February 22nd, so you can like get it in before March. Well, that's only a week before March, but you know, it's a leap year. You got that extra day in February. But yeah, I really liked it. So I know I only ended up reading 4 books for this. I usually read a ton more in my vlogs, but I didn't want to read books that are coming out in spring yet. I will do this vlog again for spring, but I knocked out a lot of my winter releases on my NetGalley, and I'm so excited about that. Stay tuned for this month. I think I'm gonna do a reset vlog. 2024 reset vlog a month in. But that's just how 2024 has been for me. So yeah, I will attempt to do another vlog this month. Let me know if you're excited to read any of these books, or have you got your hands on any of these books. And if you guys have any other recommendations too for some winter horror books, or anything on your radar, you know, let me know and I'll try to request it too on NetGalley. And I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Bye!